And we're back. Well, you ready to talk about Green Arrow number 4 and Aquaman number 4?
Mm-hmm. I am.
Okay. Green Arrow number 4, Burn Your Bridges. Green Arrow number 4, Burn Your Bridges. Surrounded by the Seattle PD, Green Arrow fights his way free. John Diggle appears, and after him and Ollie have a tussle, they agree to work together. Black Canary has stowed away on a vessel heading to the Inferno. At the Inferno, she is subdued and captured by Amy. Arrow and Diggle recruit Henry back into the fold. Henry hacks into the laptop Arrow took from Queen Industries. From the information on the laptop, they find out just exactly how big the Ninth Circle's presence is. Dante appears on the screen and offers a trade, the laptop for Canary. Henry accidentally spills water on the laptop, shorting it out. But he was able to make a trace of the location of Dante's transmission. Diggle and Arrow head to the Inferno for what Ollie calls a full-scale assault. 4 issues in, but John Diggle finally makes an appearance, and he sees Ollie for the first time in a long time. What was some of the tension that was between them, do you recall, from previous issues of the New 52?
I didn't keep up with Green Arrow that much in the New 52, but I knew Diggle was accusing him of, letting, it must have been a girlfriend or a wife die at some point, and Ollie was trying to apologize for that, but seemingly it wasn't going over that well, but Diggle still agreed to team up with him in the end. I think mainly maybe just to satisfy his own need for revenge against the Ninth Circle, not necessarily to help Ollie.
Like the enemy of my enemy.
Yep, is my friend, yeah.
Do you think that this will last? As I don't know, even though they had tension between them, they still had that bond of no matter what, my problems are with you, but when other people come attack you, they have an issue with me as well.
Yeah. I think it'll last for a bit longer than, maybe than Diggle plans to stay. So we learn a bit more about exactly how the Ninth Circle works, that they've been basically branding all of their members, and giving them all those burns, and dipping them into that pit, and apparently that's the people that have been sent to them.
Yes.
That's how they're making new henchmen or new members. That's pretty crazy.
It was. Remind me a little bit of Indiana Jones when they're dropping them in, coming out some type of some type of lime solution that would burn away everything old about them, and they come out with new skin, and that would be the underground. That was just kind of disturbing to me.
Because Dante called that like the first part of their training.
Yeah.
Because the one guy who attacked the guy Diggle was defending in the Middle East, he was able to just burn him just by touching him. So it makes me wonder, what else does this solution do? Are they giving them more training? Was that a guy who had superpowers in the first place and then got burned? I still have a lot of questions about that.
Right. Ninth Circle kind of very scary so far.
Oh yeah.
They're followers, but you think they'll end up staying loyal once they're going through that ritual? Do you think they're loyal?
It seems like they must do something else to them mentally. Because if they're being burnt against their will, they shouldn't be that loyal otherwise. So we'll see.
I liked it when Diggle said, you're on the team, you need to help out. I'll pay you if I have to, but if I have to pay you, then it shows that you're not to be trusted, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And Henry's, then they back in like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's kind of exactly what I figured would happen when Henry said he wasn't gonna work for Ollie. And it is almost like not quite like a frat boys mentality, but they are kind of, they're busting on one another, and it's a very nonchalant air among the three of them.
Do you think it'll last?
We'll see. I think they'll certainly be calling on one another. They might not necessarily be hanging out every single day, but I think they'll be in need of each other again later on.
Well, it looked like the head of it, after they hacked into the laptop and Dante found, or I guess they pinged the transmission, and Dante was talking to him, and they said, all right, they found out the information, just how deep the Ninth Circle goes. And what did you call it earlier? You said that they were kind of like this Bank of the World for as much as, and Queen Industries was the one supplying him with the
Yep, like
with the money.
like the front. for
Yeah.
it. Yeah, sort of like the front for the money laundering. Yeah, it does kind of make me laugh that they know the location of where the Inferno is, and the Inferno is this giant, huge ship. It seems
Right.
like you'd see it. I mean, you'd
Exactly.
see it from pretty far away, but
Well, Dante wanted
knows?
to the laptop for Canary because all that information on the laptop. But Henry, clumsy, just kind of spills his water on it, short circuits out. So they really they just have a bluff hand, really. But Henry said, "Well, I was able to find out where they go." So they go there, and they're not going to be able to trade anything. So it's Diggle and Green Arrow going in the full frontal assault. 2 against all those people.
Yeah.
And then you have Amy and Shadow. And when are we going to find out what their motivations were for why they betrayed Allie like that?
Yeah, this is the first time we really see why Amy is angry at Ollie, and it's sort of because he says he didn't take charge.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't really have control over her. And I guess I kind of took maybe that's a nudge that she found out about the Ninth Circle prior to that, and
Okay.
she's sort of infiltrating them. And maybe that's her way of saying, you know, you didn't know what your company was doing. I found out. Here's what I'm doing about it. But we'll see. That might be me reading in too much.
It might be, it might not be. Hopefully, they're vastly outnumbered, but there's no fear in those two, and they're going straight ahead, and it'll be quite a battle for sure, as ever long. I just hope that he has enough arrows. Aquaman number 4, The Drowning Part 4, Semper Fidelis. While in prison, Aquaman is still working on diplomacy, while Mira is becoming frustrated to the point of aggression. Merc is investigating the Ponchar train attack. He finds an Atlantean sword, and he gets attacked by a special force unit at the wreckage. Black Manta learns more about Nemo and their end objectives. Just as Aquaman is close to convincing the authorities to release him, Mira stages a jailbreak. As they leave the facility, they are surrounded by the military. Well, Mira just couldn't wait, could she?
No, sort of what you would expect. I
Right.
couldn't picture Aquaman punching his way out, but Mira punching her way in. I could see that.
Well, she made the situation escalate a lot worse than I think Aquaman was almost at the point of getting them to release him.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, when Mira gets him out, she also tells him that, you know, what he's doing is not working. I mean, he's still stuck in prison, and we don't know for sure if they would have let him out. So who knows? I mean, it definitely adds more fuel to the fire, but
I was leaning towards he is talking his way, and he had about convinced that person that was watching him to let him out. What did you think at the very beginning of when they were asking him if he needed any special accommodation?
that was funny. That was funny. And his reactions to you know, they ask him if he needs water in the tank, and he says, well, yeah, if I get thirsty. And they say,
Right.
no, I mean, do you need it to be like flooded with water or anything?
Yeah.
And he says, well, yeah, I need, by the way, I need a fish to talk to, and I need, if I'm deprived from whale song for more than 4 hours, I'll go berserk. That was, and they just stare at him blankly,
Yes.
like, holy crap, this guy. And, you know, it's just his attempt at humor. It helps to lighten up Aquaman, the character, too. So he's not quite the stiff, regal ruler. I mean, he's
Right.
a guy who's prepared to make jokes and try and lighten up a bad situation.
Well, in regards to Aquaman being put in prison and Mira being a ticking time bomb, do you think they're being manipulated to escalate the situation further?
I don't know. I mean, with whatever the deluge is doing, I think there's definitely a connection there. With the sword Merc finds, he mentions that that's a really high-class sword.
Right.
And in, I think it was Aquaman number 1, they mentioned that the deluge was mostly
Right.
lower tier,
Yep.
lower caste Atlanteans. So that's an interesting. I mean, that ups the ante if the higher castes are rebelling too. And like I mentioned before, I mean, I was thinking Merc might have been one of the guys behind the attack because his silhouette sort of looked like the silhouette
Right.
on the Ponchar train. But now, you know, he's at the Ponchar train. He admits that he doesn't like the surface dwellers, but he does say he doesn't want that to happen to them. He doesn't wish terror against them. So it's really hard to say where he fits into this whole plot.
Blackjack, she finally explains to Black Manta what Nemo stands for. Do you remember what it stood for?
Oh God, no. Actually, I don't. No, I don't remember what it was. I remember the macrocosmic order. The first one was nautical.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the nautical extension of macrocosmic order or something?
Let's look real quick.
All I remember is Black Manta's reaction that, oh, you people and your acronyms.
Yes.
that was my or nautical enforcers for macrocosmic order.
Nautical enforcement of macrocosmic order.
Oh yeah. And it is funny that Black
Nautical
Manta.
enforcement of macrocosmic order.
Yeah. And that's pretty hard to make sense of, but it is funny that Manta says that, because in the comics, one of the first organizations he worked for was a clandestine organization called Ogre. And I don't even remember what that stood for. I'm not even sure they ever said what it stood for, but that was kind of funny.
Let's just stick with Nemo. That is just easier. Well, Nemo seemed. What did they? Blackjack said that they pretty much had control of the planet because they had control of the oceans.
Yeah, and they've had control of the ocean since what, like 1982 or something? She mentions, or they've had functional control.
Yep.
But then the only thing that keeps them from controlling everything is Atlantis and Aquaman. Mm-hmm. So that's an interesting bend.
Do you think that maybe they're the masterminds behind this attack, and Aquaman being in jail, like they're kind of a Illuminati type society?
Maybe it seems like Blackjack would have mentioned to Black Manta at this point that, hey, by the time we do this, Aquaman's going to be in a pretty crappy spot.
Right.
But because they're sort of just nonchalantly sipping tea on that airplane. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to say. I mean, I think they have a plot in the future, but whether or not they're behind the deluge attacks is
if they
something they'll have to reveal. Yeah.
Right. If they were behind the deluge attacks, that'd probably be trying to divide Atlantis. So if they do attack Atlantis, which is what they said was the only obstacle in front of them, they could be going against a divided at not full strength Atlantis.
Yeah, divide and conquer.
Now that's very true.
Who knows? What I was really happy with is we get to see another member of the Aquaman family, which is Tula, who's the regent of Atlantis. So I guess that makes her sort of like number 3, I guess. I would assume.
Okay, behind Mera and Aquaman.
And it's cool too because this Tula is a new version of the original Tula, who was better known as Aquagirl.
Okay.
And sort of made up the foursome of Aquaman, Mera, Aqualad, and Tula.
Okay.
So, and she didn't see much action back then because she was killed off in the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Wow.
She was one of the many casualties of that. So, and it was a neat position for her because she's almost I felt she was almost sort of like the Oracle for them. I mean, sort of like the Barbara Gordon equivalent for the Aquaman family because she's back in Atlantis. She's coordinating with Merc at the wreck of the Pontchartrain train. She's coordinating with Mera at the White House, trying to keep her calm. And she also buys into Aquaman's mantra of harmony between the surface world and the ocean. Because she mentioned she'd been to, it was one of the like seaside fairs they had and had cotton candy and stuff.
Do you think she makes a better teammate for Aquaman than Mera in terms of just because she's calm?
Maybe a calming influence on Mera. Maybe even a more positive influence if she has, the positive outlook and not the sort of the isolationist in Mera.
I just wonder after this, looking forward to next issue, how are they going to get through? Are they going to fight their way through all that military, or is Aquaman going to stand down? He's kind of, where does he push himself from here? He's very, very thin line. He's by himself, I'm sure he would stand down, but with Mera pushing him, I don't know if he's going to let him.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of hard for him to talk his way out of this if there are a bunch of unconscious guys in the prison he just came out of.
Exactly. Well, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss Action Comics number 961, New Superman number 2, and Superwoman number 1. We'll be right back.
Oh, wow. He seems to be trying to tell us something.
Height, 50,000 feet. Estimated speed, 2,000 miles per hour.
Stay where you are.
The entire missile, its shell, its mechanism, was built of this crystal-like material, which I would call a poor substitute for our alloys.
Poor substitute, Professor. And for anything at all to remain after such an impact, I think is remarkable.